It's Missouri Valley Conference basketball on the final weekend of January. This afternoon in Normal, the Illinois State Redbirds play host to the league-leading Southern Illinois Salukis. Hi, everybody. Welcome to SIU Arena. It's the Valley on ESPN. Kurt Pegler and Kelly Burke with you. It's ISU against SIU. These two schools have played 165 times on a basketball floor. A great rivalry. And this afternoon, the Redbirds are taking on the first-place team in the conference.
SIU, red hot, winners of 5 straight, 12 of their last 13 games, and doing it with the league's stingiest defense, allowing just 60 points per game. Illinois State's offense will really be tested today with guard Darius Burford out with an orbital fracture, suffered at practice yesterday. He got clocked in the nose. Redbirds will really miss his game-changing speed, so look for guards Colton Sandage and Jaden Johnson to see more minutes.
The Salukis are led by preseason all-conference selection Marcus Damask, who's also putting his best foot forward to be named the Conference Player of the Year in about a month.
We're in Marcus Damask right in the Player of the Year conversation. 17 points, 6 rebounds per game to lead the Salukis. Damask, a physical forward who's been playing a lot more on the perimeter this year. Damask coming off of ball screens. He's getting downhill more, but still can take and hit that 3-ball.
Redbird senior Kendal Lewis held scoreless in the Redbirds' first meeting with the Salukis, but he's coming off a big performance on Wednesday night in Peoria.
Or Kendal Lewis breaking out of that offensive slump against Bradley. A double-double, 16 points, 12 rebounds per game. Lewis did a better job finishing at the rim, and his length affects the game in so many different facets. Lewis's matchup today against Marcus Damask will be key. His length, that first meeting, cost Damask just 10 points, 3 of 9 shooting.
Southern Illinois has won 5 in a row, 12 out of 13 as they come to SIU Arena here this afternoon. The Salukis have a senior-dominated starting 5. 4 seniors and sophomore Clarence Rupert will open the game for the Salukis, who also have a pair of transfers in their starting 5. Xavier Johnson came over from George Mason. Juwan Newton came over from Evansville. So he's staying in the Valley, but playing now with a different team. Ryan Peden now has 11 different starting lineups in his 23 games now because, as we mentioned at the top of the broadcast here, no Darius Burford after he broke a bone around his eye in the practice yesterday. So the Redbirds are going to have Luke Kazubke, Liam McChesney, Malachi Poindexter, Seneca Knight, and Kendal Lewis to start the game. Redbirds get the opening tip, and we're underway here at SIU Arena in Normal. Kip Kissinger, Amy Bonner, and Tyler Kumpfer are the officials working this afternoon's game, and Seneca Knight knocks down a 3 to open the scoring.
A good start for Illinois State, and going to have to make up the production with Darius Burford being out today. He's been averaging over in double figures, about 11 points per game.
Knight's been big for the Redbirds in the last couple of weeks. Marcus Damask has his first look. It's an open look, but he can't knock down the shot, and it's cleared by Liam McChesney. Redbirds coming off that difficult overtime loss at Bradley on Wednesday night, a game that they really felt they had won. They had a 10-point lead in the second half, and they also scored the first 4 points of the overtime, kind of had the driver's seat to start that overtime period, but could not finish the game in Peoria. Damask passed up that 3, goes to the corner. This is Johnson, Xavier Johnson, who's a 39% three-point shooter.
An unselfish job by Marcus Damask. He had an open look for 3. He struggled a little bit this season from distance, so passing it off to Xavier Johnson.
This is Kasuki on the top. And the first turnover of the game goes to the Salukis. Redbirds committed 24 turnovers in Peoria, and that really came back to hurt them on Wednesday. And there's a 3-ball that goes in from Damask.
Redbirds are going to have to do a better job transition defense, finding the shooters of SIU. Damask, he can take that 3, he can hit that 3, and Illinois State just losing him in transition off the turnover. Now McChesney with Jones on him. Kind of a bit of a mismatch there, but he lost the dribble.
8 on the shot clock. Now McChesney from the corner. His three is in, and the teams are shooting the three ball here.
And McChesney, that's something that SIU, they have to make that adjustment. He can stretch the floor from distance, hit a couple threes in that first half against SIU in Carbondale.
43% shooter from beyond the arc is McChesney. Now Damask takes it to the lane, and he's going to flip it out. Good save there by the Salukis' Jawan Newton. This is a deep three and missed. That's from Lance Jones, who has really hurt the Redbirds in the last couple of
and Jones
matchups.
Is such a streaky shooter, too. You can't let him get going. He can hit that deep three ball.
Seneca Knight penetrates and scores. Good start to the flow for the Redbird offense.
And we even saw that in that Bradley loss, that OT loss, is Illinois State's offense much more efficient.
There was an efficient play as Jones flipped the ball down to Damask, and he scored.
That's going to be a fun matchup to watch tonight. Lewis against Damask. The length of Lewis and Damask, how he bounces back from 10 points in the last one.
Poindexter knocks down a three. The Redbirds are shooting it from beyond the arc there. 4 of 5 from the floor, and 3 of those 4 makes have been from beyond the arc.
And the three-point line, that was a concern for SIU head coach Brian Mullins. He said, we have to be able to contest those three balls. Can't let Illinois State get going from distance.
Again, the Salukis are going to go inside, and a nice move, a pump fake and a basket from Clarence Rupert.
McChesney has to make that entry pass into Rupert way more difficult.
I'm not sure we expected to see all these points early in the game. How about another three? That one's from Kasubke. That's missed, but McChesney keeps the possession alive. It did not hit the rim, so the shot clock continues. It's a second opportunity for a three missed by Kasubke. And the Salukis will bring it back out. Good pace in this opening 5 minutes of the basketball game. Newton is fouled in the lane, and we've got our first media timeout. Just underway here at SEFCU Arena. It's 15-16 to go, and the Redbirds have a 1-point lead on the Salukis. Here at SEFCU Arena, it's Illinois State 11 and Southern Illinois 10, just underway in this Missouri Valley Conference matchup. The Redbirds are 8-14 overall and 3-8 in the league, and the Salukis 17-5 and 9-2 in the conference, and sitting in first place, atop the conference standings with Belmont. In fact, that 17-5 start for the Salukis, their best since the 06-07 season. That was the last Saluki team to get to the NCAA tournament. Southern is the number 1 defensive team in the Missouri Valley, allowing only 60 points per game. They're not only number 1 in the conference, they're number 4 in the nation. And so the Redbirds getting 10 quick points in the first 5 minutes says something about the attack that the Redbirds have here early on. And the Salukis turn it over. Redbirds are going to get the basketball back. That was one of the key statistics in the first matchup between these two teams. Illinois State had 15 turnovers in the game, and Southern only had 5. So that was a gigantic differential in the first matchup a couple of weeks ago in Carbondale. The game won by the Salukis 69-57. Opportunity now for Seneca Knight to get back to the free throw line. Redbirds have been attacking here the rim. And Knight makes both free throws here. And the Redbird lead is 13-10.
Kurt, I'm glad I can hear you finally. Having some audio issues over here.
We're glad that you're back with us here. Damask in the paint now. His fadeaway on Sissoko goes in. A great start to the game now for Marcus Damask.
Damask clearly already in a rhythm, and he's hitting from all over the floor, too. You've got to be really, really physical with him.
He's hit 3 of his first 4 shots, 7 points out of the gates now for Marcus Damask. Redbirds work around the perimeter. It's Kasupki from the top of the key. He rattles in a 3.
The ball movement has been superb for Illinois State so far. A lot of driving kicks, opening things up, kicking it around the perimeter.
Luke Kasupki now in the scorebook. He has started Illinois State's last 8 games. We've got a whistle on the rebound. It's going to go against the Redbirds.
J.D. Mula doing a really nice job getting the inside position.
And the foul is on Sissoko. He's had a hard time staying on the floor. Usually foul trouble is the biggest deterrent to him being in the game. So he picked up a quick foul there.
Redbirds back in a man-to-man.
Damask is open again from the corner, and he's really feeling it.
And that'll happen because Illinois State, they gave up the baseline, so Kendal Lewis had to come over on the help defense. Marcus Damask left all alone in the corner.
In double figures in 6.5 minutes in the game, he's got 10 points. And the Redbirds are going to be whistled here, so they'll turn it over on a foul away from play. And it's again on Sissoko, so he picked up 2 fouls really quickly there in about 2 minutes, and he's headed back to the Redbird bench. How about the keys to the game here tonight?
For SIU, points off of turnovers, that first meeting, able to capitalize to the tune of 19 points, and they can't put Illinois State on the free throw line. One of the best free throw shooting teams in the country are the Redbirds. Illinois State, they have to come out aggressive like we've seen so far, especially the offensive end, and they have to crash the offensive glass.
Johnson down the lane, and he flipped it in, and now the Salukis are back in front.
Johnson, he gets downhill so fast, great shiftiness, able to go right around that Redbird defense.
And we got a whistle in the backcourt. That's going to go against the Salukis. And that's the first on... Let's see who they whistled that on. Was that on Johnson?
Not on Johnson. Maybe Dalton Banks.
Yeah, that's who it was on. Well, Banks picks up the foul. The Redbirds trying to reclaim the lead here. Down the lane, and a difficult shot goes in for Kendal Lewis.
And Lewis finishing that through contact, and even a secondary defender coming over in Dalton Banks.
We're seeing J.D. Mula in the game now for the first time for the Salukis. Now from the corner, this is Troy D'Amico's in the game as well. He worked the baseline, but it's Mula who comes away with a rebound, and he's fouled.
SIU right now, they're finding a lot of success driving the baseline. Illinois State has to make that adjustment and cutting it off. It's leading to all types of open looks, and in that case, the offensive putback opportunity for Mula. So you see Mula again, the inside position. He's done a really nice job of getting the box out on Illinois State to get the offensive boards.
Yeah, big, strong player. 6'8", 240, fifth-year senior, Canadian player. Brings that toughness to the Salukis. Now, he's only shot 10 free throws on the season, so he's not at the free throw line a lot. We're seeing Colton Sandich come into the game for the first time for Illinois State, and also Alex Kodoff.
Rotations, they are going to look a lot different tonight with Darius Burford being out with that orbital fracture in his face.
Mula really struggled on that trip to the free throw line. He missed both of them, and he airballed the second. And of course, that has the fans fired up.
Free throw shot that he has. Really almost gets the ball over his head shooting. Full court pressure here from SIU.
Salukis trying to turn up the pressure on the Redbirds here. Poindexter has done a nice job for the Redbirds, especially in the last couple of games. He's really kind of come into his own. We got a foul on the Salukis.
Just great change of speed. Kendal Lewis slipping that ball screen. Able to collect the foul.
11:51 to go, first half. 18-17, Redbirds. Southern Illinois coach Brian Mullins had a lot of success in the Valley. He spent 6 years at Loyola before coming back to his alma mater to coach. He was a part of the coaching staff when the Ramblers went to the Final Four. He's now in his fourth year with the Salukis, and he's 5-1 all-time against the Redbirds, so he's had a lot of success against Illinois State.
And how about this? Coach Mullins and his wife Katie just had a baby 2 days ago. Another son named Keegan, so congratulations to both of them.
Member of the SIU Saluki Hall of Fame. He's in the middle of that huddle there, and he's got his Salukis in first place with a 9-2 record. Year number 1 for Ryan Peden. After 5 years at Ohio State, he was also an assistant at Butler and at Illinois. 2 years apiece there in Indianapolis and in Champaign, and trying to rebuild the program here in Normal for the Redbirds.
He's done just a really nice job with this team, keeping them connected even through the losses, keeping the encouragement and the positivity really up, not only in-game but at practices.
You'll notice that coaches are wearing sneakers today. It's Coaches versus Cancer, suits and sneakers this week around the country, as it's uniting coaches in their fight against cancer.
Lewis, a mismatch inside. He had one on Banks, not able to take advantage of. Got to get him the ball.
Lewis down low, couldn't finish. Ball's out of bounds, but the Redbirds will maintain possession.
And finishing for Lewis, that has to be the difference in this game. We saw him able to do that in that loss to Bradley, had the double-double, but he had really struggled offensively in the games prior. And as you and I talked about before this one, scoreless against the Salukis in the first meeting.
A whistle away from play, and it looks like they're going to whistle Malachi Poindexter. The Redbird guard picks up the foul. Seneca Knight has re-entered the game for Illinois State, sending Kasubki back to the Redbird bench. Actually, now they put him back out, and they send Malachi Poindexter to the bench. Kasubki thought he was being subbed out for, but it was actually for Poindexter. We're seeing a freshman in here, Abube, and again, the Salukis have found a lot of success getting the ball inside.
That entry pass, and Illinois State, they have to front that entry pass right now because Salukis really taking advantage. And Abube doing a really nice job creating space with his upper body. Got Kotov a little bit off the ground there. That's why the foul was called.
6'10", 265. He's a redshirt freshman from Mundelein outside Chicago. Had a hand injury in the Salukis opener and limited his action. He's just been back with the team for about a couple of weeks, really.
Got in a scooter accident on campus going to class, hurt his wrist, but he had a nice outing. First meeting between these two teams, 7 points, 3 rebounds. He had that critical offensive board at the end of the first half that gave the Salukis some momentum going into halftime.
He banks home that free throw, so he split the foul shots, and we're even at 18 now. Seneca Knight running the offense here from the top of the key.
Yeah, so you're making it difficult even to get the guards the ball on the entry pass.
Yeah, and the Redbirds turned it over. So with Poindexter on the bench and with Darius Burford not playing, that sequence was Seneca Knight trying to bring the ball up the floor. Yeah.
The other area you really miss Darius Burford is just the game-changing speed he has, especially against the fast-twitch guards of SIU.
Mask gives it up, and it's on the baseline, and now a kick out. D'Amico's got an open look at a three. Can't get it to go. Ball's on the floor, and the Redbirds are going to get it because there's going to be a foul. It looks like, no, they're going to say it's on Illinois State. Yeah, foul's going to go against the Redbirds.
SIU right now on the offensive glass is just shutting down Illinois State between Abube and J.D. Mula. They have been so active in drawing fouls and creating extra possessions. Watch Abube tipping the ball to himself over Colton Sandage.
Yeah, Ryan Peden asking for an explanation on the foul on Sandage there. So Sandage is whistled for the foul, and it's going to be Abube right back to the free throw line.
The only good news for Illinois State, Abube not a great free throw shooter at 56%.
Kodoff with a nice entry pass. It's Knight down the lane.
Exactly where Illinois State wants to get Seneca Knight the basketball. He's at his best in the paint.
Now another open look for three is missed from D'Amico and cleared by Sandage. Kazubki's going to work the baseline, and he flipped it up but couldn't finish. Damask penetrates, bounce pass down to Abube. The reverse lay-in is in.
Damask, such good vision, and he creates so much defensive attention that Illinois State losing Abube underneath the basket.
Knight had the ball knocked out of his hands, but Lewis there to get it back. Kasubki drop down pass to Lewis. Well done.
Just a great job exploiting the matchup. Lewis had Trent Brown on him. He has about a 3 to 4 inch size differential. Got him the basketball, able to finish inside.
Damask now with Kodoff on him. Shoots over Kodoff. And it's out of bounds to Illinois State. Now we'll see Poindexter re-enter the game, and the Salukis are going to send Clarence Rupert and Jawan Newton back in.
SIU does a nice job. They play with a lot of depth, go about 10 deep on this lineup. So really able to rotate guys in and out.
Yeah, really been one of their keys to success this year is being able to go deep, and recently they've really handled the basketball very well, and that's the reason why they've won 5 in a row and 12 out of 13.
They've been able to minimize the turnovers. That's sort of been the Achilles heel at times this season. Little weave action from Illinois State.
Poindexter, fade away, can't get it to go. Damask had it in and out of his hands, and it'll be Redbird basketball.
Nice job at Kodoff just tipping that ball off of Damask on the way out of bounds.
Kodoff giving the Redbirds some nice minutes here. So Poindexter will trigger from under the basket. Again, the Redbirds playing without Darius Burford. Has a broken bone around his eye that suffered in practice yesterday.
Jones with those quick hands.
Lewis on the baseline, and we've got a foul on the Salukis.
Lewis did a nice job pump fake. Got Damask momentarily out of position on the baseline. And SIU, they don't make a ton of defensive mistakes either.
Yeah, that's been the Salukis' calling card really for a while, as strong defensive on the defensive end, and that's going to win you a lot of basketball games.
Yeah, as you would expect from Brian Mullen's coach team, played on those floor burn U teams for SIU.
Quickly back down the floor. Knight comes away with a block shot.
Nice hustle by Knight, getting back.
See if that energizes the crowd a little bit. Now he's going to try a pull-up, and he's fouled, and he's going to get to the free throw line. Good sequence there for Seneca Knight.
Nice he's done a nice job really getting himself to the middle of the floor. Smartly went up with that shot, even though it was off balance.
Knight has led the Redbirds in scoring 5 times, and this season he's also led the team in rebounding 10 times. You saw a little flash of him doing it on both ends of the floor there with the block on the defensive end and getting to the foul line here on the offensive end.
This is a good matchup for Knight, too, because he's such a physical guard, and with the physicality SIU plays with, he's able to handle that contact, play through it. And the Redbirds, frankly, have done a nice job in recent games getting him the ball in the paint area where he can be so dangerous.
Yeah, he seems to be more in a groove here in the last month or so. He's scored in double figures in 5 of the Redbirds' last 6 games, and he's given Illinois State a 4-point lead here. And the Redbirds get a steal. It's Kodoff again.
That was lucky, too, because Rupert actually had slipped that screen, had the advantage down low initially.
All kinds of action underneath that Saluki basket. Kendal Lewis looks like he was fouled down there, so the Redbirds will have the ball when we come back. 24-20, Illinois State to lead with 7:45 to go in the half. The Missouri Valley Conference is celebrating the 50th anniversary of the passage of Title IX legislation. Throughout the academic year, the Valley is honoring pioneers from league institutions who've paved the way for current and future student athletes. To learn more about the conference's Title IX recognition plans, visit mvc-sports.com/Title IX 50. Doug Collins in the house, Illinois State's greatest player ever, the school's all-time scoring leader. Nice front row seat here. He's from Southern Illinois, so he's always been interested in the Southern Illinois State game, and it's nice to have him back on campus.
Always a treat when Doug Collins is in the house. We got to see him at that game about a month ago at Horton Fieldhouse. Joined us on the broadcast briefly.
That was wonderful. Had a nice little hello with him even before tip-off here today. Malachi Poindexter.
Poindexter, he's at his best off that little ball screen action, one dribble and pull up.
He's got 3 points. Redbirds have their biggest lead of the game at 26-20. This is Jones, and he's going to be called for an offensive foul.
Jones are going to say he pushed off. And right now, Illinois State defensively has done a really nice job on Lance Jones. That was just his second shot attempt of this game.
And he has hurt the Redbirds. In fact, his career high came in this building a year ago. He scored 31 here against Illinois State, and he hurt the Redbirds with a 21-point game in Carbondale earlier this year.
Hit 4 3-pointers in that last matchup in Carbondale.
So the Redbirds have certainly identified him on the scouting report and kept him at bay so far. Now Seneca Knight's going to try a 3, and it's cleared by the Salukis. That's J.D. Mula going up to get it. Now Damask on the other end as the Salukis score in transition.
Just a great job, Damask rim running. He was already down the court before every Illinois State defender.
Marcus Damask with a 12-point opening half.
Kodoff all alone.
And he scored. No, he missed the shot. He got a nice pass down low from Knight, but he couldn't finish down low.
Kodoff, he's got to be able to finish those shots.
Johnson's going to get a long rebound off the Jones miss, and Damask has an open look, and they turn that into a 3-point play.
Marcus Damask right now, he is hot. He's 6 of 8 from the field in this game. You have constantly be contesting him. He cannot get open looks from 3 like he just had.
The Redbirds call timeout here as their lead was once 6, down to 1 on a 5-0 run for the Salukis.
It's all happened off the defensive breakdowns. First, Illinois State, they get beat down the court, transition defense, Damask rim running, and then Damask in transition. Redbirds lose him. He gets an open 3-point look. That's basically an automatic.
15 points in the opening half for Marcus Damask. He averages 16.9 a game. He's the 5th leading scorer in the Missouri Valley Conference, but he's more than that. You know, we've talked about what he means to this team. He leads the team in assists and rebounds and blocks. He really does it all for the Salukis.
He impacts the game in every facet. And Marcus Demas, too. He's a huge part of this reason that SIU is tied for first place right now in this conference. His 4th year in Carbondale with the Salukis. Right in the conversation for Player of the Year.
This is Poindexter, gets a screen from McChesney, who's back in the game now. That's him with the basketball. 7 on the shot clock. Kasupki's going to try and create. His floater's off the glass and cleared by J.D. Mueller.
Ooh, doing a nice job coming down with that basketball, too. This Knight actually had the inside position.
Little stutter step move. Jones trying to score from the inside. A whistle away from play. It's going to go against the Redbirds, and it might be on Liam McChesney.
It's definitely on McChesney. He got a little bit too aggressive and physical. They switched on that ball screen. Trent Brown all of a sudden guarding him. Wanted the basketball because he had the size differential. McChesney just took him out on the block. Also, he might have hit him in the face, too, so that's why officials are going to the monitor to see that contact. Got him, it looks like, with the elbow into the nose. Don't necessarily think it was intentional. I think he was trying to clear out space and seal him on his backside, but...
So the officiating crew is huddling to see whether or not this will be determined as a flagrant foul on Liam McChesney. He already has 3 fouls, so that's a bad situation for the Redbirds because they're a different team when he's clicking.
And keep in mind, too, Aruna Sissoko, who's the other big, he's already in foul trouble, and he came out of the game. He has that length as well, so you can't have McChesney and Sissoko both in foul trouble.
Well, McChesney hit that 3 from the corner very early in the game, but those are his only points. He's had to be on the bench with foul trouble, and now he just picked up his 3rd as he re-entered the game. It looks as if they've determined that's not going to be whistled as a flagrant foul, and that's probably the right call. It
looked like a basketball play.
Yeah.
Wasn't necessarily intentional. Trent Brown just sort of caught the bad end of it in his nose.
But nonetheless, McChesney back to the Redbird bench with his 3rd foul. We're seeing Ryan Schmidt in the game. This is his 8th appearance of the year and his 4th Missouri Valley Conference game. He still hasn't scored a point in any of the Valley games.
Look now, fronting Damask in the block.
And that's Schmidt picking up the foul on Johnson at the perimeter as he tried to step out and draw some contact there.
Schmidt trying to step out hedge high on that ball screen. SIU doing a really nice job getting the bigs of Illinois State into a lot of foul trouble.
And that's the 9th team foul on the Redbirds, so the Salukis will be in the double bonus for the rest of the half after the next foul. Xavier Johnson's had a nice little addition to this team. Again, the George Mason transfer has had 6 double-digit scoring games, so he's not really counted on to do that when you've got those other guys, but he just brings another level to the Salukis. We're going to get another look at that one off the missed shot. They got another look at it, but could not convert.
SIU doing a great job on the offensive glass so far. Already 5 offensive boards in this game.
Banks with the quick hands as he deflects that pass out of bounds.
SIU does a really nice job. They make any entry passes so difficult with their active hands.
Redbirds are still shooting it at 47%, but they were much higher than that earlier in the half. They came out on fire, so they've kind of settled in. The Salukis defense has settled in here on Illinois State. Four to shoot. Poindexter. Lewis tries to keep it alive, and he does. A good hustle play from Kendal Lewis.
Lewis tipping it to himself, but then Kazuki dribbling the ball off his foot for another turnover.
So the Salukis in transition. Damask thought about that three and then did shoot it after all. Looks like he didn't want to shoot it initially, but when he had that open look, he was going to try and hit another three.
Yeah, had just enough space to. Poindexter had come out to guard him, but has the advantage to be able to shoot over Poindexter.
He's got 3 3-point makes here in the first half. Under 4 minutes to go here. Poindexter called timeout. He lost his footing, and that was an alert timeout call to save another turnover. And so it'll be a full timeout here. 3:45 to go till halftime. We're all even. It's Southern Illinois and Illinois State, 26 all. We mentioned the Southern Illinois Salukis have really hung their hat on the defensive end. 4th in the country and 1st in the league at allowing just 60 points per game. And that's going to win you a lot of basketball games if you can hold opponents to that number.
It certainly will. And what's so impressive about this SIU team is that obviously for the league, number 1 in the Valley, 60.7 points per game. And look at the 4 teams in the top 50 defensively. But SIU, too, they don't necessarily let their offense, when it's struggling at times, dictate their defense. Their defense is always solid. You can always count on it.
Yeah, Bradley, Drake, Missouri State also on that graphic. They've done it on the defensive end as well this year. The Valley's been known for years and years as a tough league.
Defensively.
Yeah, so it's nice to see that that's still the identity in this day and age of three-point shooting and multiple possessions and all of that stuff.
Well, what's nice, too, about SIU is that they have so many players that have stuck around through the rebuilding. Marcus Damask, his 4th year. Lance Jones, his 4th year. Trent Brown's been there a long time. Dalton Banks, a 3rd-year player.
Six seconds on the shot clock for this possession for the Redbirds. Knight is fouled at the perimeter on Trent Brown is going to be whistled for the block. And so back to the free throw line now for Seneca Knight.
Being in the bonus certainly works to Illinois State's favor, being such a good free throw shooting team, top 4 nationally.
Yeah, the Redbirds shooting it at 80% for the season, and that's a big number this late in the year. If you're in the last week of January and you're still shooting it at 80%, you're getting it done at the foul line.
Absolutely.
And Knight is now 6 out of 6 from the foul stripe here in the opening half.
Knight's having a great game so far. 12 points, 3 of 4 from the field, perfect from the free throw line. And this is a matchup that really favors him with the physicality.
Brown tries to work on Sandage and a kick out now. Damask looks inside, instead goes outside to Dalton Banks. Now a skip pass to the corner. Brown's going to try a three, and he knocked it in.
Brown, a very capable three-point shooter, and great awareness by SIU finding him on the skip pass.
Yeah, the senior from Scottsdale, Arizona, a 30% three-point shooter, and he's given the Salukis a lead with that three ball.
Brown's been one of those players that throughout his career, he's come in off the bench and can hit that big three-point shot.
Poindexter's going to try to answer with a three from the corner. It's off the front of the rim and tipped out, and it's tracked down by Banks.
It's hustled by Dalton Banks.
And now Kendal Lewis comes away with a steal, and he's fouled in the backcourt on Brown.
It's going to be number 3 on Trent Brown, and just sort of got it wrong place, wrong time. Lewis sort of dribbled the ball right into him.
Lewis, number 1 on the Redbirds in steals, so it's not unusual at all to see him come up with that loose ball. He's got 35 on the season now, and he's going to get to the free throw line.
Lewis has those long arms that get into passing lanes, which is exactly what happened on that last steal.
The senior from Appalachian State has carved out a nice little niche here in the last 2 years for the Redbirds. Kind of a stat stuffer. The guy can score. He gets rebounds, blocks, Steals, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. He's not going to be at the top of the score sheet every night, that's for sure, but he does a lot of the other stuff.
That's exactly why, even during that offensive slump, those couple of games where he was scoreless, you saw him on the court still because he rebounds the ball, he plays good defense, his length bothers opposing players.
And we've got a whistle against Banks. Offensive foul was Colton Sandage who took the charge.
Charges were something that Illinois State felt like today at shoot-around that they could take advantage of against this aggressive guard play of SIU. Just initiating the contact, Dalton Banks.
Good first half here as we approach the 2-minute mark. Sandage to Lewis with a nice drop down pass to Seneca. Knight in traffic.
Knight, really great adjustment too. He had to go up and get that lob pass over Lance Jones, who has some of the most active defensive hands, comes down with it right back up for the finish.
And a 15-point opening half for Seneca Knight. Damask inside. He's double teamed. It's a block. It was Seneca Knight, and then Damask got it back and he flipped it in.
Damask, such good off-ball movement, even set that up, but then does such a nice job, so patient around the rim, splitting the two Illinois State defenders.
Yeah, Marcus Damask on full display here this afternoon. 17 points in this first half. Now it's Lewis on the baseline. And a foul on the rebound. That's going to go against the Salukis.
It's actually a little bit shocking because D'Amico had the inside position on Lewis.
So back to the free throw line now for Kendal Lewis. The Salukis now with 10 team fouls, so the Redbirds are in the double bonus as well.
Going back to your point about Marcus Damask, right in the top of the Player of the Year conversation, if I had to vote today, it'd be a toss-up between him and Ben Shepard from Belmont because both have been so good for their teams this year.
Yeah, still got about a month left of the season, but those two guys are probably the horses at the top. But again, a lot of basketball left to be played, but we'll be in St. Louis before you know it. Arch Madness will be here.
And a big mismatch, Damask on Malachi Poindexter, and he knows it.
He's going to try a little hook shot that goes in. Marcus Damask.
Just great recognition by Damask because Lewis and Poindexter had switched on that screen. Big advantage size-wise for Marcus Damask and strength-wise.
8 out of 12 shooting in the game. Marcus Damask with 19. Now Knight changes direction, and he may have
traveled.
Yeah, that's what they're going to call it, a held ball, and that's going to go to the Salukis.
He needed to go up with it. I think he was actually expecting a foul to be called there.
Salukis get it to half court and then call timeout as we're down to 34.6 left here. The Redbirds with a 1-point lead, 30-second timeout.
SIU look for them to put the ball into the hands of Marcus Damask, who's having a tremendous first half.
Yeah, you got to think he's the guy that's going to get the look here. Now the Redbirds, there's 28 seconds on this shot clock, so the Redbirds could still have an opportunity to answer, depending on how long it takes the Salukis to run a play here.
Look for SIU to try and isolate Marcus Damask. But be prepared that when the Illinois State defense converges around him, that there could be a kick out for an open three.
Now the Redbirds led the Salukis by 3 at halftime in Carbondale, so they have played them very tough in the first half. The second half was a little bit of a different story in their first matchup, but this has a similar feel to the game in Carbondale when the Redbirds had the lead at halftime.
And really the difference in this game is that Lance Jones is scoreless right now heading into the half.
Yeah. See how long the Salukis hold the ball here before they decide they want to shoot it. Again, 7-second differential between the game clock and the shot clock. This is Damask. And we got a whistle away from play, and it's an illegal screen against Jones. It's been a rough first half for Lance Jones.
Jones just hasn't been able to get in a rhythm on either end of the floor, really.
That's his second foul. He's scoreless. He's only taken 3 shots, as you mentioned, Kelly. He was a huge factor in the first meeting between these two teams and hasn't been the case here this afternoon.
One of the big emphasis for Illinois State today at shoot-around is that we need to make Lance Jones work for every shot, every touch of the basketball.
Poindexter, fade away, rolls off, but it's Lewis with an offensive rebound and stick back, and the Redbirds will have that 3-point halftime lead once again.
Lewis, just great relentlessness and pursuit on the offensive glass. Kendal Lewis, he has been a huge factor in this first half.
Illinois State 36, Southern Illinois 33 as the teams head to the locker room at the half, and our halftime report is up next. You're watching the Valley. We are at halftime at SEFCU Arena in Normal, where it's Illinois State 36 and Southern Illinois 33. Kurt Pegler, Kelly Burke, our Redbird production crew with you here on this Sunday afternoon. Let's take a look at some of the highlights from the first half of action. Seneca night for Illinois State, and Marcus Damask of Southern Illinois got hot early, and they stayed hot the whole half.
Knight has been so good, finding his way into the paint, 4 of 5 from the field, 15 points. Marcus Damask, Illinois State losing him several times in that first half from 3, and he will make you pay every time. Damask leading all scorers, 19 points. Redbirds able to get the 3 ball going early. That opened things up for the paint touches. Kendal Lewis has been a huge factor, 10 points for him, and he's been active on both ends of the floor. Xavier Johnson, nice contributor for the Salukis as well, 6 points in that first half. But Damask has been certainly the difference maker. The Redbirds are going to have to make his touches a lot harder and contest a lot more in the second half.
We talked at length about how great the Southern Illinois defense has been all year long, but the Redbirds have a 46% shooting percentage from the floor. Of course, Southern is shooting it at 50% as we try to break down these statistics. Each team with 14 rebounds. Now, a handful of more assists for the Salukis, and the turnovers are about the same. Southern Illinois had only 5 turnovers in the first meeting between the two teams, already 6 here this afternoon.
And that's been one of the key differences. SIU right now, 6 turnovers, but Illinois State scored 10 points off of those 6 turnovers. Redbirds have also done a really nice job getting to the free throw line. They're 10 of 10 right now from the charity stripe. Salukis, though, on the offensive glass, looking at the rebound battle, it's dead even, but SIU 6 offensive boards, and they've been able to turn that into 8 second chance points.
So our halftime score is Illinois State 36 and Southern Illinois 33. And our halftime report continues from SEFCU Arena in just a moment. It's the Valley on ESPN. A peek into our Redbird production studio, 36-33. Illinois State leads Southern Illinois. Kelly Lambert, our producer, trying to keep those guys in check and keep their mind on the game here. It's a 3-point Redbird lead. Let's take a look, our first look at our Toyota out-of-town scoreboard. 4 of the top 5 teams in the Missouri Valley Conference are in action today, and the 2 teams tied for the lead are both trailing at halftime. Southern Illinois comes in with a 9-2 record and trailing the Redbirds by 3, and Belmont at home is down 13 to Drake at the half, 39-26.
And what's shocking about that game, Tucker DeVries isn't even playing. He's been in the hospital. I believe just got out of the hospital today, had an infection. And so Drake playing without Tucker DeVries and up double figures on Belmont in Nashville.
Drake's got a 7-4 record. So does Bradley, and the Braves have a 10-point halftime lead in Chicago at UIC. That's our Toyota out-of-town scoreboard. Visit Toyota.com. Now here's a look at those Missouri Valley Conference standings again. The Salukis, 9-2, and Belmont both sitting atop the conference standings at this hour. Northern Iowa lost at Indiana State yesterday, so the Panthers are sitting at 8-4. And then look at that, 7-4, 7-4, 7-5, 7-5, 7-5. It's just a big log jam.
And it's so important, too, over this last month of the season because the top 4 seeds get a bye in Arch Madness the first round. So you want to be one of those top 4 seeds. right now there's no separation in the top of the standings. And so SIU, if they can win here today and Belmont loses at home, they would be all alone in first place.
20 minutes of basketball still to play here at SEFCU Arena. Again, we mentioned that the first meeting between these two teams in Carbondale a couple of weeks ago, the Redbirds had a 3-point halftime lead there, only to see the Salukis come from behind and win that game 69-57. And the Redbirds will begin the second half at home against Southern Illinois with, again, a 3-point lead as we begin play here in the second half.
Illinois State, they have to come out with that aggressive mentality they had early because SIU is such a good second half team. They've done such a good job finishing games this year.
This is Seneca Knight after that red-hot first half. He misses his first shot of the second half, and the ball is tracked down to the corner by Jawan Newton. The Redbirds have Haruna Sissoko back on to open the second half instead of Liam McChesney, who has 3 fouls. Here's Damask in the corner. He worked his way out. He got it to Rupert, who followed his own miss and scored in a 3-point opportunity.
And Rupert, great movement. Damask does such a nice job with his court vision, finding Rupert on the cut, and then having the wherewithal to follow his shot, get the offensive board and the putback.
We just mentioned foul trouble. That's foul number 3 on Haruna Sissoko, and he's going to exit the game here 35 seconds into the second half, and so Alex Kodoff will come in. So the Redbirds have post players in McChesney and Sissoko, each with 3 fouls. The Salukis have not helped themselves at the foul line here today. They're just 2 of 8 shooting free throws.
And normally a pretty good free throw shooting team.
Seven on the shot clock now. Poindexter freed himself up, and his shot rolls out. And it's Kendal Lewis who comes away with a rebound. He can't get it to go. It's tipped up once, twice, and again the Salukis come away with it.
Got to find Jones in transition.
Little give and go. Rupert from Damask, pump fake block from behind. It was Lewis.
Kendal Lewis right now all over the court, hitting the offensive glass, coming in to save what looked like an easy bunny.
Redbirds have 3 blocks in the game now. Six to shoot. Seneca Knight for 3. That's in.
Knight, he is just feeling it right now. 5 of 7 from the field. Got a clean, open look. Great patience by Illinois State offensively.
18 points now for Seneca Knight. Redbird lead is 4.
Damask has a mismatch a little bit with Poindexter on him.
Lance Jones still looking for his first points of this game. Misfires on the 3.
You don't normally see Lance Jones airball a 3.
And again, some token full court pressure here applied by the Salukis. Redbirds again playing without starting guard Darius Burford, their leading scorer, has an orbital fracture suffered in practice yesterday.
We'll see the doctor tomorrow to see exactly what the situation is, how long he will be out, if at all.
So if you've just joined us and you're wondering why Burford's not on the floor, that's the reason why. Ball squirts out to Kasubki, who nails a 3.
Redbirds have been able to capitalize and take advantage of the second half of open 3-point looks on some defensive breakdowns late in the shot clock.
The Redbird lead is 7. It's their largest of the game. Offensive foul away from play, and if that's on Lance Jones, he's got his hands in the air as if to say, why me? But he might be going right back to the Saluki bench.
It's definitely on Jones because Dalton Banks coming in. It's probably one of those, a little bit of a frustration foul by Lance Jones too. Just hasn't had anything easy today. No easy looks, no easy touches.
21 points against the Redbirds in their first matchup in Carbondale. And now no points and 3 fouls as he sits on the Saluki bench. Kazupki, another look for 3.
Just great recognition, too, by Alex Kodoff. He had an open look from 3, but he was able to find Kazuki make the extra pass for an even better one.
The Redbirds are out to a 10-point lead. 16:48 to go here. Illinois State 45, Southern Illinois 35. Back here at SEFCU Arena where Illinois State suddenly has a 10-point lead on Southern Illinois 45-35. Let's revisit your keys to the game.
Illinois State, they've done a nice job minimizing their turnovers, 7, which for the Redbirds is low. SIU capitalizing to the tune of 7 points, a reasonable number for Illinois State. Salukis have put the Redbirds on the free throw line 10 times. They're 100% at the charity stripe. And then Illinois State, dead even in the offensive rebound battle right now with SIU. Salukis have done a really nice job crashing the offensive glass.
Yeah, again, the Redbirds in the top 4 in the country in free throw shooting percentage and have done a great job at the foul line, and they're just on fire here to start the second half from beyond the arc with Kazuki knocking down a couple of threes, and the lead, which was 3 at halftime, is now 10. Here's Banks.
Great help defense from Kendal Lewis coming over to cut off Dalton Banks.
3 on the shot clock. Newton's going to have to force up a buzzer beater there, and it's a long rebound to Illinois State's Malachi Poindexter. Poindexter down the lane. He tried to draw some contact on Mula, but instead it's a missed shot, and back comes Damask.
Just kind of threw it up.
All the way down. He missed the shot. He got too far under the rim, it looked like.
Damask, a rare miss by him. Kind of played through the contact, but wasn't quite able to finish.
Ten on the shot clock now as Seneca Knight backs his way in, and he's stripped. It was Newton that came away with the steal, but the Redbirds got it back. Now Lewis works on Damask in the paint. His turnaround jumper. Nope. We had a good look there.
Good look, and Illinois State will take that look. High percentage look.
Yeah, really good look there. Lewis has played
really well.
Yeah, an excellent game.
You wondered after that Bradley game if his confidence would come back in the double-double performance.
Damask is fouled as he went to the paint, and we've got another timeout. 15:01 to go here. It's a 10-point Illinois State lead over first-place Southern Illinois. Illinois State 45, Southern Illinois 35, 5 minutes into this second half. A trip to Arch Madness in St. Louis is not complete without visiting the MVC Fan Hangout. Arch Madness tips off March the 2nd. It runs through the 5th. And the MVC Fan Hangout at Ballpark Village is the best place to celebrate before and after games, featuring restaurants, entertainment, and all things Arch Madness. For more information, visit archmadness.com or download the Arch Madness app today. Redbirds trying to throw a little wrinkle into the way the standings might look here in the next couple of hours as they've got the first place team down by 10 here.
Yeah, we're going to have some shakeups in the standings too if Drake can knock off Belmont.
Yeah, these next couple of weeks are going to be crazy in the Valley standings heading into St. Louis, that's for sure, with those top 6 or 7 teams only separated by a couple of games. How about Damask off the bench, right out of the huddle, and knocks down the jumper?
And Damask knocks down the jumper, too, with Luke Kazuki digging over to make him pick up that dribble on the isolation.
21 points now from Marcus Damask. And a turnover is going to be a steal, and the Salukis come away with it. Banks penetrates and a kick. Damask is open for 3 on the rotation.
That was a lucky miss by Damask because he was, again, wide open on that rotation. Good ball movement by the Salukis in finding him. Lewis has to make sure he doesn't fall asleep on Damask out of the perimeter.
Colton Sandage in for the Redbirds, as is Liam McChesney. Again, McChesney playing with 3 fouls. Seneca Knight now A kick out. This is Sandage for three. That's in.
Sandage, nice job of being shot ready. Not a great pass to him, but able to take the one dribble, recollect himself, and a bang-bang three.
He missed a couple of games with his back injury. He played 5 minutes on Wednesday night.
He's going to be forced to play a lot more tonight with Darius Burford being out.
For sure, and that's a big hoop for Colton Sandage, for his confidence and for the Redbirds. DeMask trying to create with 5 on the shot clock. Down the lane, flipped it up, can't get it to go, and it's going to be an over-the-back call, it looks like, against Sandage.
J.D. Mula has been a monster today on the boards when he has seen action in this game. Just absolute relentless pursuit. Always in the right position, it seems like, on the offensive glass.
Now, it was an adventure.
At the free throw line.
Yeah, the last time he went there in the first half for Mula, he nicked the rim on one, and he had an air ball in the second.
It's interesting, the free throw. Watch him when he bends down to shoot the free throw. The ball actually rotates, and he shifts it back over his head.
And he missed them both, but we've got a whistle here.
Looks like a lane violation.
Yep. He's going to get another free throw here. He was a top 25 JUCO recruit from Indian Hills Community College before he came to Southern Illinois. You look at his body and you think he has just got a massive physique. Clogging up the lane, it can be a real threat. He knocked down the swish that free throw.
And Mula and Kyler Filowich, who used to play for the Salukis, both the first Canadians to ever be a part of the Salukis team.
Knight to McChesney. He's open for three, but it's short and it's off the front of the rim and out of bounds to the Salukis.
McChesney, he's been a good three-point shooter this year. I'm not sure that's the three that Coach Peden wanted him to take. It was a pretty deep one early in the shot clock.
He knocked down a three in the first half. He's only taken 2 shots here in the game. There's Jones
cut
on a back door, and Lance Jones has his first points of the game at the 12:55 mark of the second half.
Great patience, too, by SIU letting that play develop.
McChesney's going to try another three. That rattles out. It's a Lewis rebound and bucket.
Lewis, he continues to be the difference maker in this Illinois State offense in the second half, affecting all areas of this game.
12 points and 6 rebounds now for Kendal Lewis.
And half of them have come on the offensive end.
Johnson, his pass intended for Mula, was intercepted and knocked out of bounds by Sandage.
Great breakup by Sandage, because that was probably going to be an easy basket for J.D. Mula.
So Poindexter in, and a quick breather now for Seneca Knight to the Redbird bench. He's had a game. Seneca Knight with 18 points. Jones knocks down a three, so he's got 5 consecutive now.
That's a danger part of Lance Jones. He's a streaky shooter, and he hits one, and all of a sudden he can get going.
Yeah, he averages 14 points a game. Kasubke with 10 on the shot clock. He penetrates.
Oh, nice pass.
To Liam McChesney, but he couldn't get the reverse layup to go. We've got a whistle on the play, though, and a foul against the Salukis.
What a great off-ball cut from Liam McChesney, and fined by Kasubke.
11:47 to go here. Good ball game. Redbirds have a 7-point lead on the Salukis. Final game in the month of January for both of these teams. The Salukis will open February with a big game at Bradley on Wednesday night before they return home to host Missouri State and UIC. Then they have to go to Des Moines on the 11th. That'll be a big game as well. And then a game against Valparaiso on the road. So that's the Salukis' next 5 games. The Redbirds are on the verge of opening the month as well with their schedule. They'll have UIC here in a game that we'll have with you on Wednesday night. Then they go to Belmont Of course, they beat Belmont earlier in the season here at home. And then again with Bradley, they'll play at Valpo, and they'll have Murray State come here to SEFCU Arena.
For Illinois State, a chance at some redemption against UIC on Wednesday. If you remember back to that game, end of December, Redbirds dug themselves a huge first half hole.
And Liam McChesney makes both of those free throws, pushing that Redbird lead back up to 9. Whistle against Sandage, it looks like, at the perimeter. He's picked up a couple of fouls here in these last 2 trips down the floor.
Sandage trying to get over the top of that ball screen. I think McChesney was relieved it wasn't on him.
Actually, they did whistle McChesney now. They said that's his 4th.
Oh, wow.
Looked like it was going to be Sandage, but instead it is on Liam McChesney. So he's to the Redbird bench with 4 fouls, and in the game again is Alex Kodoff.
Kodoff, he's played well given the minutes he's had.
Yeah, agreed. He had a nice stretch there in that opening half. Johnson to Damask, his 3. Front of the rim, no good, and cleared by Kodoff.
And Lewis gambling there. He made Johnson pick up his dribble, but then Damask got the kick out, but missed the 3.
Sandage and Kodoff now. Sandage a 3 behind the screen from Alex Kodoff.
Nice pin down screen from Alex Kodoff. Colton Sandage, second 3-pointer of this game, has given Illinois State some really big points off the bench with Burford being out.
Lance Jones answers with a 3, and again after a very quiet opening half, now he's got a couple of 3s and a 2-point make, an 8-point second half run here.
And that 3, that was highly contested too. Malachi Poindexter, his hand was in his face.
Kendal Lewis all the way down, muscled the shot up but couldn't get it to finish. He worked his way all the way to the rim there.
I like though that Lewis is attacking Marcus Damask.
And it's Damask with an open 3. An excellent pass from Jones, who thought about firing up a 3, but instead went to Damask.
And Damask taking advantage. Lewis had fallen on the other end. Was slow to get back. Damask making him pay. Marcus Damask now 24 points.
And the Salukis on a little bit of a run here. They've made 4 of their last 5 shots from the floor. Knight had it stripped, but a foul that's going to be a reach-in on Mula.
Mula came over, wanted Knight to pick up his dribble, but got a piece of his hand in the process. You see the reach-in right here, trying to get a piece of that ball.
3rd team foul against the Salukis. Well, you just knew the Salukis were going to make a run.
Oh, absolutely. And that was something Illinois State talked about today in shoot around, is there's going to be runs. SIU will have them. We have to be able to sustain them.
Redbirds had a 12-point lead a moment ago. It's down to 6. Knight. His pass to Poindexter is stolen. It looks like it was Newton that got his hands on it. Held ball possession in favor of the Salukis.
Nice recovery, too, by Newton. As Illinois State initially beat him on the back door, but came to recover in time, got a piece of that ball to force the jump.
Damask works on Lewis. He drives and scores on him. And it's an 8-0 Saluki run.
Damask, good catch and rip. Goes right around Lewis. Has him beat on the first step all the way to the tin.
It just feels like we're in the critical point of the game right now, these next couple of possessions.
And you can tell, too, SIU, they've really turned up the defense here last couple of minutes, feeding off their offense.
7 on the clock and a steal. It's Jones, 2-on-1. If he gives it to D'Amico, trying to finish the play. D'Amico is down. He collided hard. He finished the play, but he is down on the baseline holding his knee.
He went down really hard.
Back up on his feet and ready to run back down the floor. Here's another look.
That's the 2-on-1. Nice find from Jones. Up through contact. I'm actually surprised they didn't call a foul because that was clearly a foul.
So it's a 10-0 Southern Illinois run over the last 2 minutes and 6 seconds. And that Redbird lead has been trimmed from 12 down to 2. And Poindexter is getting tied up with it. He and Damask.
Well, they're doing a really nice job frustrating Poindexter right now, being really physical with him.
This is right about the time of the game on Wednesday. Illinois State had a 10-point lead with 10 minutes to go at Bradley when the Braves made a little bit of a run and closed it within 2. And that's exactly what's happened here, where the Redbirds had that 12-point lead, and now the Salukis are within 2, right about the same juncture of the game.
And this is where Illinois State, they've got to see growth here and being able to weather the Saluki run and still get some offense going. Double comes.
Blocking foul on Jones as it was Seneca Knight that worked around him.
J.D. Mula, he's picked up 2 quick fouls here in the second half.
You're right. Pardon me. I thought that was going to be whistled against Jones. That would have been his 4th. But instead it's on Mula.
Nice
inside
cut
to
by
Lewis on the pump fake.
Great patience too by Lewis as 2 maroon Saluki defenders go right by him. Waits, collects himself in for the jam.
And that ends the 10-0 run for the Salukis. Jones, step back 3. Can't get it to go, but it's an offensive rebound and another look for a Jones 3, and that one is missed and tipped out. And the Salukis get another offensive look. It's Damask for 3.
And those are killers. SIU right now is killing Illinois State on the offensive glass. Second and third chance opportunities. Marcus Damask just crushing Illinois State right now, making them pay 29 points.
The Salukis have closed it within 1 with 7:25 to go. Second chance points, a big deal for the Salukis, especially on this play.
SIU's been so active on the glass. Is Newton there getting the inside position for the offensive putback. And then Salukis have done a nice job, too, of crowding Illinois State, pushing them under the basket to try and get the position. Marcus Damask making them pay off of the second and third chance opportunities.
So the Salukis have hit 5 of their last 7 shots. They're on a 13-2 run. Again, Illinois State had a 12-point lead and it's been trimmed to 1 with 7:25 to go. And Damask is knocking on the door now to a career high. He's sitting on 29 points. His career high is 32.
There's a lot of time left for him to get at least those 32.
Redbirds have Haruna Sissoko back in the game now with his 4 fouls. I'm sorry, he's only got 3. It was McChesney with 4.
Look at the defensive attention Kendal Lewis is getting.
How about Sissoko hitting the shot there?
Sissoko stepping up big. Not normally known as a scorer.
Big basket for the Redbirds to kind of stem the tide here as the Salukis are on a bit of a roll here. ISU has now hit 4 of its last 5 shots. Good overplay, the defense from Lewis to tip it out. Active game for Kendal Lewis here this afternoon.
Super active. I really think his offense is fed off the defense he's playing right now, not only on Damask, but just being all over the passing lanes with those length in the hands. Jones, he loves this step-back 3.
One-on-one with Kasuki. He drives, he flips it up, and it's Sissoko who clears for Illinois State. Jones nearly had a backcourt steal there.
Oh, slip.
Seven to shoot. Knight works on Damask, takes him to the baseline, flipped it up, and he drew a contact foul, that time on Mula.
Mula, that's number 4. JD Mula, nice job, but Knight, the continuation, gets around Damask. Doesn't get the exact reverse angle he wants, but still able to draw the contact as you see him get around Damask and watch him contort his body to try and go off glass.
What a game Seneca Knight continues to have. Mula leaves the game now with his 4 fouls, and it's Xavier Johnson that comes in to replace him.
Where SIU will miss Mula is just his activeness on the offensive glass.
7 rebounds, too. First miss from the foul line for Knight. He's got 19 points. He's 7 of 8 from the free throw line. Redbird lead is 4.
Oh, nice pass.
Damask trying to go one-on-one with Sissoko.
Good job of Sissoko defending Damask without fouling off that switch.
Poindexter, an open look for 3. Where Sissoko had it in his hands and out of bounds. And so it'll be Saluki basketball.
I think they just called a foul on Kendal Lewis.
Yes, they did. So Lewis picks up the foul. Both teams with 5 fouls, so we're still a little bit away from the bonus situation as we've got 5.5 to play.
Nice trying to ball denial there. The entry pass to Damask off that flex screen.
This is Jones now. He's going to work around Sissoko, but it may be goaltending because I think Lewis got his hand in the net.
I think you're right. It is goaltend.
Yeah. Kendal Lewis came over to help out on the defensive end, and when he went up for the block shot, he got his hand tangled in the net.
Well, clearly SIU on offense, they are trying to isolate Lance Jones to go one-on-one.
Kisuki. Ball is on the deck and is scrummed out of there. The Salukis came away with it on a steal, and now it's Jones in transition down the lane again. And we're tied at 60.
Lance Jones impacting defensive and offensive ends a ton in the second half.
Scoreless in the first half. He's got 12 second half points.
So he was really turned up their ball pressure. Look at how far they've pushed Illinois State out beyond the three-point line.
5 to shoot. This is going to be a deep 3 from Seneca Knight.
Seneca Knight continues to bail out Illinois State on the offensive end. 3-point, not normally the shot he wants to take.
A 22-point effort now for Seneca Knight. He scored 19 on Wednesday in Peoria, so he's having a whale of a week. Damask is fouled.
Damask has done such a good job in the second half of just attacking off the dribble, realizing how tired Kendal Lewis is right now trying to guard him.
Don't go anywhere. 3:45 to go. It's a 63-60 Illinois State lead over Southern Illinois. Half of the 2023 State Farm Missouri Valley Men's Basketball Tournament. The app has all the information you need to plan your trip to St. Louis, including the tournament schedule, tickets, hotel accommodations, and special events during Arch Madness. Log into archmadness.com or download the Arch Madness app on your Android or iOS device now. Let's take another look at that Toyota out-of-town scoreboard. Drake is about ready to hand Belmont a loss and perhaps knock the Bruins out of that share for the lead in the conference. And Bradley has a 12-point lead late on UIC, so the road teams look like they're having a successful trip, at least in those two games. And here we've got a 63-60 Illinois State lead on Southern Illinois. Again, that's our Toyota out-of-town scoreboard. Visit toyota.com. Big day in the Missouri Valley Conference when you've got 4 of your top 5 teams in action.
So much at stake, too. Usually by this point in the conference season, there's been separation in the standings, and that is not the case this year with so much parity.
Not this year. So the Salukis have it at the Illinois State end, trailing by 3. Damask works on Sissoko, a pump fake, and in traffic he tries to finish it. He can't, and it's cleared by the Redbirds.
It's really good help defense there by Seneca Knight, and Damask just continues to thrive. That quick first step, getting around Illinois State defenders.
Knight now to Sissoko on the baseline. He'll bring it back out with 7 on the shot clock. Poindexter with 3 to shoot. D'Amico with a rebound.
That's really where you miss Darius Burford, who has the ability to create his own shot late in the shot clock with it winding down.
Damask with a pass to D'Amico. He works his way inside. Lost the dribble. Now it's Jones with it. And that's going to be an over and back call.
Jones not happy with himself. Just doesn't make mistakes like that normally.
9th turnover of the game for the Salukis. And Sissoko out and McChesney in with 2:50 to go.
Double stagger screen.
Lewis to McChesney. He's immediately double teamed. And the ball's on the floor, and it looks like the Salukis have come away with it. We'll see what the call is here. They're going to give the ball to Southern.
Off the jump ball. And McChesney, he brought that ball down just enough that double team able to get a piece of it, force the jump ball, knock it loose.
So that's the Redbirds' 13th turnover of the game. Again, it's a 63-60 spread here, 3-point game.
Well, and how about this? Sissoko back in, so they're switching offense for defense. Sissoko and Lewis. Lewis now guarding Damask.
Jones ties it.
And that's a killer on the pin down. Lance Jones, that's way too open of a look, and he is feeling it in this second half.
He's got a 15-point second half going, and we're even as we approach the 2-minute mark left in this one. Kasupki's going to try and answer, and he does.
Kasupki, nice response.
His 4th 3-point make of the game gives the Redbirds a 3-point lead with 1:45 to go. Damask for 3. You got to be kidding me. They're trading haymakers back and forth.
And the baseline continues to kill Illinois State.
What a sequence.
Yeah, what a pass, too, from Xavier Johnson.
Damask has equaled his career high now. He's got 32. Lewis, blocking foul against the Salukis. That's on Newton.
One foul away from being in the bonus.
Yeah, each team with 6 team fouls, so we'll have free throws from here on out. Again, the Redbirds an excellent free throw shooting team. Knight tries to work on a screen from Lewis. 5 on the shot clock. Poindexter, step back with a hand in his face. Offensive rebound by Lewis.
Nice job, Lance Jones. Lewis brought that ball down. Jones got a piece of it.
And this time on the alternating possession, it's Illinois State's turn to get the ball. The Salukis wanted to know about a potential shot clock violation, but it appeared that ball hit the rim, and it was an offensive rebound.
And Jones, that was about the best thing he could have done, because Lewis, that was going to be basically a putback bucket.
Well, the officials are indeed going to take a look at that. As it stands right now, it's Redbird basketball with 48 seconds to go, unless they rule that that was a shot clock violation. But here, it looked like Malachi Poindexter's shot did get the rim.
I think it looked like it just grazed the rim. And now you have two teams. You have SIU, who years past has not been able to finish out games. That has not been an issue this year. This veteran team, they have finished games really well. And then Illinois State, who's been in a number of close Valley games and hasn't been able to finish them. So can they flip the script here in the last 48 seconds?
The Redbirds have played 3 overtime games already this year and one just earlier in the week. The Salukis have 1 overtime game under their belt from early in this season. We still have what could be an eternity to play with 48 seconds left. So no shot clock violation. The Redbirds will have the basketball with Poindexter to trigger. Kendal Lewis with D'Amico on him. Works baseline. Tough shot off the glass and in.
Lewis going one-on-one with D'Amico. Nice job finding the angle. Tough angle, too, off the baseline.
Well, there's a stoppage in play here. Again, the officials are heading to the monitor.
I think they're going to see if there's some extracurricular activity.
Yeah, maybe that's the
after
case.
That play.
Or maybe they're going to put a couple of extra ticks on the clock here. Yeah, that's what they did. So instead of there being about 36 seconds, it's now 37 and a half.
A good catch.
So Lewis with a difficult shot, and he scores off the glass to give the Redbirds a 68-66 lead, and now Kendal Lewis with a 16.8 rebound game.
And if you're Illinois State, you know the ball is either going to Marcus DeMax or Lance Jones.
Johnson, backdoor to DeMask. It's off of Illinois State, and so the Salukis maintain possession. And now we've got a timeout on the floor. Brian Mullins wants to talk things over with 30 seconds to play. What a ball game.
Incredible. This is probably what we expected between these two teams. We've had some great and actually the officials are over there looking to make sure on that replay that the ball did in fact go off of Illinois State.
Well, they just showed the replay here on the big scoreboard, and the fan base here at Illinois State thinks it's going to be Redbird basketball. This is a big play. Here's our look at it. Is that off of DeMask?
From that angle, to me, it looks like it's off of Knight. Well, maybe not. Might have grazed DeMask his right fingertips. Initially, it looked like it was off of Knight's knee.
Boy.
Keep in mind the officials have a little bit different angles than we have too, beyond what we're showing you on the TV screen.
Big play here.
Big call. And they can slow it down frame by frame too.
They are really taking their time and looking at this replay. Again, the Salukis come in first place in the conference with that 9-2 mark, and Drake about ready to finish off a win at Belmont, who also have a 9-2 mark, and they're going to give the Redbirds the basketball.
Reversing the call. So it must have grazed Marcus Demas' left fingertips.
So Illinois State will have the basketball here with the 2-point lead.
Colton Sandage coming in, a smart move, an extra ball handler for Illinois State.
Gazubke, Knight, Poindexter, Lewis, and Sandage on the floor for Illinois State. Jones, Damask, D'Amico, Newton, and Xavier Johnson on the floor for Southern Illinois. With 30.9 seconds to go. Inbounds goes into Knight, who's fouled immediately by Johnson.
Well, that's Illinois State now in the bonus, too.
Again, the Redbirds at 80% free throw shooting in the top 4 in the country as a team, and Knight has done a great job at the foul line here this afternoon.
Illinois State, they've missed one free throw the entire afternoon, 13 of 14 from the line.
And again, Ryan Peden sends Sissoko in the game for Sandage. So there's your offense for defense. Sissoko giving Illinois State a little more size and length on the defensive end. Meanwhile, it's Knight to the foul line.
Big free throw for Illinois State. Knight also probably thinking back to that Bradley loss, trying to redeem himself, had a costly turnover late in that game.
9 out of 10 from the free throw line this afternoon for Seneca Knight. He has 24 points, and he's given the Redbirds a 4-point advantage.
We just got word Drake has indeed beat Belmont on the road. 79-61 the final there.
So, again, Southern and Belmont started the day tied for first in the conference standings, each with 9-2 records, but the Drake win in Nashville now knocks Belmont down to 9-3. And
9-3, so Southern can take sole possession of first place if they can get the comeback win here at SEFCU Arena.
Otherwise, the Redbirds with an upset here would keep the two teams tied atop the conference standings at 9-3 and just keep everybody a step closer, because Drake with their
everybody
wins,
bunched up.
Yeah, Drake has now moved into that spot with 8 wins along with Northern Iowa, and Bradley should be there too if they can finish off.
And
the
Bradley,
win.
Keep in mind, that's Southern's next opponent in what should be a defensive showdown.
Buckle up, it's going to be a great final month in the Missouri Valley Conference. Should be a good final 30 seconds here. Southern Illinois with the basketball down 4. Here's Johnson. And a kick out. Damask. Long rebound to Jones. Back to Damask. Another 3. No good. It's Lewis who goes up and gets it, and he's fouled, and the Redbirds have the hammer now with a 4-point lead with 12 seconds to go, and free throws coming for Kendal Lewis.
In Southern, those were 2 great looks for Marcus Damask. First one on the blow-by, and then got a great look off the offensive board. It's really the player you want shooting the ball in that situation. Kendal Lewis doing a little bit of everything today. A huge defensive rebound.
Yeah, what a terrific ball game Kendal Lewis has had. The Redbirds 17 of 18 from the free throw line. Lewis makes them both. 6-point lead. Jones's three is no good, and the Illinois State Redbirds have beaten first place Southern Illinois 72-66. What a win for Illinois State.
What a bounce-back effort. After a gut-wrenching overtime loss against Bradley on Wednesday, Illinois State showing some massive resiliency today against the first place, or what was the first place, still tied for first place league, or team rather, in the league.
Signature win number one for Ryan Peden and the Illinois State Redbirds. A great effort for Illinois State in a 72-66 win over Southern.
Even more impressive, too, because Illinois State, without their top scorer, Darius Burford, out with that orbital fracture. And so the Redbirds' entire bench stepping up in a huge way. Huge contributions today. Kendal Lewis, nearly a double-double in this game. Seneca Knight having another massive game.
Yeah, very impressive win without their leading scorer, Darius Burford. Time now for our Carl Broman Medical Center player of the game. You could cut this basketball up into about 2 or 3 different spots and give this now. Marcus Damask had a whale of a game for Southern Illinois with his 32, but we're going to give it to number 3 for Illinois State for Kendal Lewis, an 18-point effort, 6 out of 10 from the field. He was perfect at the foul line. Lewis did it defensively as well. He also chipped in 10 rebounds.
Back-to-back double-doubles for Kendal Lewis, and I'd say he's definitely out of his offensive slump.
So Kendal Lewis, our Carl Broman player of the game. Carl Broman Medical Center, redefining healthcare around you. Visit carl.org to find the health care you need. So Southern's now 9-3, Belmont's now 9-3, Northern Iowa's now 8-4, and Bradley and Drake both won today, so they are 8-4 as well. So you have a first place tie with 2 teams with 9 wins and 3 teams right behind them with 8.
And you have Southern. They'll have another first place battle on the line against Bradley when they meet this week.
Great ball game here. How about a final thought, Kelly? What'd you think about this one? Put this one into words here at the end.
Certainly offensive contributions across the board, but it really came down to their defense and their ability, when it counted, to make the defensive stops.
So for our Redbird production crew, headed up today by our producer, Kelly Lambert, I'm Kurt Pegler alongside my broadcast partner, Kelly Burke. The final score from Normal, Illinois tonight: Illinois State 72 and Southern Illinois 66. And good night from SEFCU Arena.